Hey everyone, it's Mr. Eisens here. We're going to be hopping into stimulus and response notes. These are pretty awesome because I really think we can all relate to this concept. All right, this concept of stimulus, which is something that you're going to sense with one of your senses, see, touch, feel, and then you're going to respond. You're going to react to that. All right, and so we're going to have a couple real world examples, but first we got to talk about balance. Okay, and how all things want to maintain a sort of balance. All right. So equilibrium is just the scientific word for maintaining balance. All right. So any system we want to keep in balance, just like a seesaw. And so, in order for everything to function properly, like our bodies, we need to keep it in a healthy, balanced state. All right. And so, the word for that is going to be homeostasis. Okay, the state of equilibrium, the state of the body is in a good spot, it is healthy, it is ready to go. We want to keep it there. All right, we don't want it to shift away and become injured or get a fever. Okay, that's leaving our balance. Many different things can throw us off what our body wants to maintain, which is homeostasis. All right, and so living things are going to respond to both internal and external environmental cues. And what they want to do is respond to them in a way that's going to maintain what they got going on, which is hopefully a healthy balance, a healthy equilibrium, and maintain homeostasis. So a lot of big words, but they mean things that we're pretty familiar with. Okay, where they're pretty familiar with. So don't be overwhelmed by that. All right, so stimulus, that's going to be the cause. It's going to be the reason you're going to have to react. Okay, and so in this example, we're looking at a hot stove. All right, when I was younger, I accidentally did do this picture. Okay, I took my hand, I put it on a hot stove, didn't realize it was so warm, and I quickly threw my hand back off of it. Okay, luckily I didn't burn my hand too bad, but it was hot. It did not feel good. Okay, and so what's interesting, okay, is that my body was able to detect the heat and then react very quickly. Okay, react and understand the information that my body was getting. The nerves in my hand were getting information that it is extremely hot. We need to remove our hand as quickly as possible. So the stimulus was the heat on my hand, and then the response was pulling my hand off of that as quickly as possible. All right. So cells and different tissues are going to collect information day by day, and then they're going to react to the environment or react to the chemicals in our body or whatever is going on. All right. And so the reaction is actually going to be our response. All right. And so we'll talk about this more with tropisms in another notes session. But what we want to show you here is the stimulus. The reaction to a stimulus is called the response. Okay, so the stimulus would be the light, and then the plant is going to react. And in this photo, you can kind of see the plant is leaning toward that light. Okay, so this is going to be phototropism, and something that we're going to study a little bit later and more in depth. All right, because the plant is going toward the stimulus, because there could be a stimulus, excuse me, where the plant is going to go away from certain stimulus. Okay. All right. So examples of stimulus and response. Things that we're just a few examples. We're going to go more in depth and name specific relationships later in a different video, tropisms. But you are hungry, so you eat some food. Okay. The stimulus is that you are hungry. You feel that pain in your stomach. And then your response is, I'm going to go eat some food. I'm going to go to the pantry. I'm going to go to the fridge. I'm going to open up the fridge and see if I want to eat anything. And then after you see that you didn't really like anything in the fridge, you're going to go sit back down. And then you're going to get back up and you're going to check the fridge again. And you're going to lower your expectations. Or at least that's what I do. And so that's stimulus is getting hungry. Grabbing food is going to be that response. A rabbit gets scared. And then the response would be it runs away. Okay, so the rabbit is scared. It's prepared to take off. It's prepared to have a fight or flight response. Usually, rabbits use their speed to get away. Again, the stimulus is getting scared or maybe some type of predator in the area, and the response is going to be the rabbit running away. It becomes winter, so birds migrate. Okay, so the temperature or the resources available start to go down. So the bird is going to respond with going to an area that has more resources and that is warmer. Okay, and that's going to be the example of stimulus being temperature change or precipitation of snow or whatever in winter. And then the thing that the bird's going to do is migrate. Okay, the response is going to be the bird migrating. A dog is very hot, so it lies in the shade. Okay, an animal, the dog is panting, it's very, very hot, so it's going to find a cooler area to be in. All right, they don't need to be super, super complicated. I know this slideshow is a little bit messed up. I think the transfer from PowerPoint into Schoology kind of messed up a little bit. So thanks for bearing with us here. It starts raining, so you take out an umbrella. All right, the stimulus of start raining, you're going to respond to that by putting an umbrella over your head to keep yourself dry. Okay, so just some simple examples. We're going to talk about a few more specific examples here right now. So behavior. All right, response behaviors. All right, it can be innate or it can be learned. All right, so you can either learn it or you just instinctually react in a certain way. All right, so innate, you don't need to think about it. It doesn't take brain power necessarily, and it just happens. It's instinctual. You just do it. All right, and so reflexes would be one of those. So in the case of a dangerous situation, or someone, let's say, just throws a ball at you, okay, and you catch it out of the corner of your eye, your reflex is to quickly turn and protect yourself. My reaction would be to try to catch the ball, but another good reaction would be to duck or protect your head or react in a certain way. Okay, a reflex you don't think about, you just instantly do it. There's no time to think. All right, whereas behavior patterns are going to be things in which animals just instinctually do, like birds that migrate. Okay, they don't think about when to migrate, they just do it. All right, and part of this can be done because when temperature changes, the composition of the body, certain chemicals will be released within the body to tell them, all right, time to get out of here. They don't need to think about it. It automatically happens. That's why it's innate. All right, instincts, we were talking about that. These are just behaviors that animals just know how to do. They don't need to learn them at all. So like a dog swimming. Okay, dogs don't need to learn how to swim. They just instinctually start doing the doggy paddle. Okay, if you put them in water, they never had to try it out and develop the skill. They just instantly know how to do it. As far as learned behaviors, you guys are going through that right now. Learning, okay, in school is a learned behavior, right? You're acquiring knowledge that you didn't have before, and then you're able to understand what's going on. And so certain examples would be imprinting. And so our example of imprinting are these ducks thinking this dog is now their mother. All right, and so they learned that this creature is going to take care of them, and so they're going to follow it around and do what it does and try to mimic whatever it does. So a lot of animals, when they're first born, are going to do this with whatever animal they are close to. So in this case, it happened with a dog. There's going to be trial and error. We do this all the time, okay, guys, as humans, all the time. Even me, I do it all the time. When I'm trying to learn any skill, you're going to make mistakes, and then you're going to think about, oh, what could I have done better? Then you apply what you thought you should have done, and you slowly, painfully get better and better and better. Okay, it can be super frustrating at times, but it can be super rewarding once you start to figure things out. Okay, conditioning is a little bit different. Conditioning is going to be when you take a cue. Okay, a very famous scientific study was when dogs were taken and they would ring a bell before they would feed the dogs, and the bells started to they conditioned the dogs to think the bell meant food. And so basically anytime they rang a bell, whether they gave the dogs food or not, they'd start to salivate. Okay, they'd be preparing to get food. So that is what conditioning is. Conditioning is just taking any random cue and putting it with a certain behavior. So this can be valuable in training animals. It can be you can condition humans as well into one cue, whether that be a bell, an intro, or it could be as easy as a logo in a certain restaurant. Okay, McDonald's logo or Burger King. Okay, when you see that logo, you have all the experiences that you have from that place start to go off in your head. That's conditioning. Okay. And so they, the goal of companies is to condition you to see their logo and then want to eat their food. Okay, that's kind of their goal. Cognitive behavior, now that's going to be more complex, and that's going to be how we're thinking about things and choosing to do certain things depending on either trying to predict what would happen in our head or watching another person do it. But cognitive behavior is going to be all about thinking through stuff using our brains. Okay, that's going to be more unique to humans, but obviously other animals can do that as well. All right, innate behaviors are things that we don't think about. Okay, they're behaviors that are inherited. So it is common for the same species or same type of animal to have these behaviors in common, but they didn't learn it. They never had to do the activity in order to understand what's going on. All right, so tadpoles are the offspring of frogs. They automatically know how to swim. They don't need to be taught how to swim. They just instantly hatch from their eggs and know how to swim. All right, reflexes are automatic responses that do not require a message from the brain. Okay, in this example, the message comes from your spine to your hand. Okay, so or your foot or whatever response you're having, whatever reflex. Okay, and so that is much quicker than sending the electrical signal from all the way up to your brain. Now you can send it from somewhere in your spine, and you can react a lot quicker to things. Okay, behavior patterns usually caused by change in season, hibernation, migration. Okay, instincts, complex patterns, innate behaviors, spider webbing. Okay, learned behaviors. We already kind of talked about all of these, but so imprinting. Animals form an attachment to an organism or place right after they're born. Trial and error. We do this all the time. Conditioning is a modified response. Like I said, you're attaching a cue to something, and so one stimulus becomes associated with different stimulus. So birds avoid monarch butterflies. So this example of the birds avoiding monarch butterflies is there are some butterflies that look just like monarch butterflies, but they're poisonous, which kill the birds. And so the birds start to associate the non-poisonous butterflies, and they avoid the color orange or that pattern. Okay, so they don't try to eat those butterflies. All right, cognitive behavior is all going to be about thinking, reasoning, and solving problems. Okay, that's all we got today, guys. Hopefully the video wasn't too long and you're ready to tackle a few questions and be prepared to answer a quiz on this material next week. So have a great rest of your week, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.